What's up guys, it's KD here, and this is a tutorial video on how I do pixel art and character sprites. And the character that I will be drawing today is Heroic. I will be doing 3 different sprites in this video, as well as animations. So as you can see, I started off by drawing a outline for the character just using plain black. Now you can use whatever color you want, but me personally, since my pixel art is outlined with usually a darker color, I just make the base regular color black, and I will change it later on when I get to coloring the sprite itself. For the second step, I begin to fill in the black outlines with color, and you can really just use the paint bucket tool, especially since this is pixel art. And now, as you can see, I am manually coloring the line art for this particular sprite. Now the outline was previously black, but what I do is, for example, the parts that are colored blue, I will make the outline of that part a darker blue and do use hue shifting. That is where you not only select a darker color, but also change the hue that you're at. And now I'm doing the regular shading, which I am again using the hue shifting technique. However, shading is completely up to you, as well as lighting. You can either do really saturated or not that saturated at all. You could barely change the color from the flat color, or you could change it drastically. Just remember, the harsher the tones, that means the harder the light, the harder the shadow. The lighter the tones, that means the softer or more further away from the light. And of course, the softer the shadows. At this point, I start to animate this character sprite for Heroic by beginning to redraw his hand slash arm going a little bit up, so his hand is going to be coming up in front of him, because that is what happens when you're walking. And then eventually you will see that I will also begin to change his leg as well. Now these are all on different frames. I'm not redrawing the entire sprite, I'm just duplicating the sprite and then editing the parts that are being moved. This is just a simple walk cycle, not that difficult. At most it will be tedious, but it shouldn't be that difficult. And honestly doesn't take too much drawing ability either, especially since this is pixel art. This, although is its own art style and has its own rules, I wouldn't say it's ultimately as difficult as regular drawing in this aspect, but I'm not gonna say pixel art is easy either, because it definitely has its own things that are hard to grasp and understand. A tip I do have for walk cycles, especially for sprites like this where both of the sides are pretty much the same except for the hair just a little bit, is just draw the new frames of the arm and the leg moving, duplicate these frames, flip them horizontally, and just make sure they are still in the same place, and you will automatically have the other side animated without even having to draw new frames. Here is the finished walk cycle for Heroic V3. Out of these 3 sprites, I gotta say version 1, which is the one on the left, and version 3, which is the one on the right, have to be my favorite ones. Although V1 is pretty tough. I might create villain in the V3 style, but V2, we're done with that. V2 was not that good. If you enjoyed this video, I will greatly, and I mean greatly, appreciate it if you like, comment, and subscribe. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Please share the word of these videos, of this channel, of Heroic. Like I said before, if you are a returning viewer or if you're new, I want Heroic to be a fully animated show or movie or a straight up video game. And as you can see, I have the styles for all 3. So let's get it to that point. 2026, Heroic is taking over.